Thank you all for joining and attending the Medical Exploring Program information session for the 2023-2024 school year. My name is Maura Canavan, and I am the program coordinator for the Medical Exploring Program. My background is in community health, and I supported the program last year and have taken over as program coordinator for this year. I'm thrilled to work with the Medical Explorers this year, as it's really fun to learn and engage from their passion in medicine. So for this next hour, we are going to learn everything you need to know about this program. And by the end of the evening, you'll have all the information you need to decide if this commitment is right for you to join us for your medical career exploration. So quickly before we start, let's see, if all the students here can put a comment in the chat what school they're representing, just so we can see. Hopefully the chat. Okay, there we go. You should be able to put a comment in the chat now. Wow. We have a lot of different schools represented. That's awesome. Oh, okay, great. Thank you everyone for sharing. Looks like still more people. Okay, great. So it looks like we have a lot of different students from all over the area tonight, which is very exciting. So first, to kick off this evening, we have a very special guest, a Medical Exploring alumni from 2009, Eric Keene. Eric has a PhD in microbiology and is a current associate at Flagship Pioneering to work on the development of breakthrough bioplatform companies in health and sustainability. So I will now turn it over to Eric to tell us about his educational journey and career path and how the Medical Exploring program made an impact on him.
Hey folks, hope everyone can hear me here. Thank you all for joining this webinar and for taking time out of your evening to learn more about this program. As Maura just mentioned, my name is Eric. I am a long ago alumnus of Medical Exploring, back when it was actually called Medical Venturing. And I won't say how many years ago it was that I was part of the program, but suffice it to say it was quite a few. That being said, I still remember a lot of the ways in which Medical Exploring made an impact on me and on my career journey. And sort of in thinking about this some more, I think it really boils down to three things. So one of the most important lessons that I learned from this program was the idea that there's much more to medicine than being a doctor. As Maura just mentioned, I'm a doctor of philosophy. I got a PhD rather than an MD. And I'm not in a position with my current role where I work with patients on a daily basis. What I do instead is actually help come up with ideas for new biotech companies. And the goal of our companies, once they're created, is to ultimately develop drugs to better serve patients and address medical need. This, is thinking that has been part of my mindset for quite a while, coming from the research side. But it was something that I got exposure to all the way back in medical venturing. Medical Exploring, sorry. And, one example that still comes to mind very resonantly is having the opportunity to see open heart surgery down in Fairfax, which was something that was one of the highlights of the year for the program back then. And, it was incredibly cool to see this happen. We were in a little atrium above the surgery, so we could look down and see what was happening. And, I had tremendous respect and admiration for the whole medical team that was treating the patient and successfully performing the surgery. But one of the things that actually stuck with me besides that cool factor was just how much other stuff you needed for a successful surgery. It was much more than just cutting open the patient and expecting a good outcome to, sort of flow from there. There was a whole system in place in terms of drugs and support staff and other ways to, fight off infection and speed healing. That was tremendously important to the success of medicine. And so that is sort of the route that I ended up following personally. And I would encourage all of you, many of whom I'm assuming are thinking of pre-med opportunities, as you're thinking about a potential career in medicine, to also remember the fact that, it's more than just doctors that are playing really important roles in keeping patients alive and well. So that's sort of reflection number one. Reflection number two is the fact that this program can give you a chance to have real leadership. And I say that because I was actually the vice president of Medical Exploring back in the day when I was participating as a sophomore in high school. And this is, something that has, really served me well throughout my career in undergrad and grad school and now to my day job at Flagship. Because the ability to, effectively communicate with an audience and persuade people towards your line of thinking in a way that is collaborative and congenial and not too bossy is super important, regardless of what you end up choosing to do. And the third thing, and hopefully something that you can also benefit from when it comes to medical exploring, is the idea of sort of building your own career trajectory from that as a starting point. So, as you see from Maura's background here, this is a program at Suburban. One of the things that I took away from medical exploring when I was part of the program was the opportunity to sort of embed myself in the larger infrastructure at Suburban. And obviously, no one was giving me a scalpel and setting me loose on patients for the best. But one of the things that I did manage to get as part of the program was an internship in the pathology department at Suburban. And I was doing mostly, clerical work. I wasn't inspecting slides myself, but it was a really wonderful career starter because this internship led to the next and led to the next. And, if you do a good job in these sorts of things, people who you work with at the beginning can write you references for later on in the process. And that was another very tangible way, besides any piece of fact or information, that I benefited from this program. So I would just close by saying, if you do choose to participate in medical exploring, there are lots of ways that you can benefit. And I would particularly encourage you to keep an open mind and constantly be on the lookout for things that seem cool. Because you're at the point now where the world is your oyster and you can go down any path you choose, in high school and certainly college and far beyond that. So hope you enjoy the program as much as I did, and happy to take any questions if Maura relates them later on. Thanks for listening.
Great. Thank you so much, Eric. It's wonderful to hear how, it's kind of a health related field and, we can learn so much from our different speakers. So next, I would like to invite our two student officers for the year to share how this program has impacted their lives and inspire them to continue for a second year in the program and pursue the student officer leadership opportunity. So these students applied to take on a leadership role within the program, and they'll be taking an active role in helping create a successful program this year. So please help me in welcoming Roxana and Vivian.
Hi, my name is Roxana. I was in medical exploring last year, and I personally love this program so much because it melds important skills and values, namely network building, effective communication, and building respect and empathy in the group, with opportunities to learn more about STEM fields outside of the classroom. The speakers that attend are so incredibly informative and come from very diverse fields, ranging anywhere from surgeons to psycho-oncologists. And the very purpose of the program is to fuel curiosity, so you'll never feel alone when asking questions. So I hope you all consider joining.
Hi all, my name is Vivian. I'm a junior at Whitman. I joined Medical Explorers last year. I've always had an interest towards oncology, and when I saw this program, I was so excited because not only was there actually an oncology session, but there were a broad range of specialties, and I've learned so much from all of the presentations given by very, very accomplished medical professionals. And we've gone from gynecology to pathology and oncology and surgery. It's so many subspecialties, and I've just had an amazing time learning about them. We're going to have a lot more in-person meetings this year, so I'm very excited to see all of you and hope that you join.
Thank you so much, Roxana and Vivian. We're excited to have you both lead the program this year. And so everyone that signed up for the information session tonight should have received our information packet, which is our official schedule and details the entire year of activities, as well as our policies and guidelines for a successful program. But as a quick background, the Medical Exploring Program has been in operation at Suburban Hospital for more than 20 years. It is designed specifically for high school students who are interested in pursuing a career in medicine, health, and/or science, or who are just still figuring out what they want to pursue. And as a workforce development program, our goal is to educate students on the options available to them and be inspired by the passion and expertise of our providers, as Vivian mentioned. So students will learn about healthcare and the medical field from the region's top physicians, surgeons, nurses, scientists, and allied healthcare professionals. And many of those speakers are outlined in the information packet, as I mentioned. This year, our sessions will take a hybrid approach where interactive sessions will be held in person and seminar style sessions will take place on Zoom. So hopefully, this kind of balance allows for making the travel time really worth it for our interactive sessions. Our in-person sessions will take place at Suburban Hospital or at a nearby location in Montgomery County for offsite trips, which again are outlined and have been sent to you and will be sent again after this session. And also for in-person sessions, our schedule follows the Montgomery County Public School schedule in regards to inclement weather closures and school holidays. Our virtual sessions will be held in the meeting format, so rather than this webinar format, to encourage participation and engagement. And so that way we'll all have our cameras on and the medical explorers will be able to communicate one-on-one with the presenter. And so kind of as an outline, we expect that medical explorers attend a minimum of 80% of our sessions in order to get the most out of the program. And really, this is just a suggestion in order to, best meet, we have a variety of speakers, so you really want to make the most of that experience. So it's important that, you're able to attend as many sessions as possible because we do understand conflicts happen. Our primary mode of communication will be email, and most emails will be addressed to the students and parents will be copied when necessary in regards to in-person sessions and transportation and program updates. So emails will either come from our student officers, Roxana and Vivian, or directly from me. And so 1 week before each session, Vivian and Roxana will email the students with a link to a doodle poll that asks you to RSVP for the upcoming session. And as I mentioned earlier, we are looking for the students to engage, take ownership, and manage their time well throughout this program. So we ask that the students complete the RSVP rather than the parents. And a confirmation email or Zoom link will be sent out by Monday morning of the session to all students that have RSVP'd. And at our first session listed on the information packet, our medical exploring kickoff, no RSVP will be needed and the confirmation email will be sent out to all explorers that have registered for the program. So in regards to registration will open tonight shortly after this webinar closes. The registration is listed on the Suburban Hospital event site as Medical Exploring Program 2023-2024. And you'll click through the prompts and set up an attendee profile if you have not already done so. And then, be guided through the rest of the questions. The program will cost $40 this year, and you'll be prompted to complete the payment during this registration. The $40 program fee will cover a medical exploring polo, in which I am wearing right now. And this polo will be the one that you'll wear to all of the in-person sessions. So we look nice and unified this year. And it will also include refreshments at in-person sessions, instructor and book fees for our Heart Saver CPR, and supplies and equipment for interactive sessions like our suturing session. And if cost is a barrier for you, please reach out to me via email and we can discuss support options. So again, and registration will be open tonight and it will close Friday, September 29th at 5 p.m. And that will be, we won't accept any registrations after that. So you have a little less than 2 weeks to register. So I know I just went through a lot of information. Yes, I just see a question in the chat. The $40 is a one-time fee, so it'll be $40 for the entire year. And so, you know, we just went over a lot of information. So if you're unsure if this is a good fit, I just wanted to, you know, put forward a few considerations before registering. So some things that you should think about: can you make it to at least 80% of the sessions in order to make the most of your experience? Or are you overcommitted with other extracurricular activities this year that may make it difficult to attend some of these? And if you cannot make it to the majority of sessions, you can also consider participating another year if you are in 9th through 11th grade, because this program is open to all high school students, 9th through 12th grade. So that is kind of the brief overview. We wanted to leave lots of time for questions, and we'll get started now. So thank you all. Okay, so let's see. So the address of Suburban Hospital, where the a lot of the in-person sessions will take place, is 8600 Old Georgetown Road in Bethesda, Maryland. And that is also on the information packet. The address is listed there as well. And registration will close on Friday, September 29th at 5 p.m. And so in terms, the question is there a limit on the amount of people that can join? There is not a limit, it's just a strict deadline at 5 p.m. on September 29th. So, you know, due to the interest in the program, we won't accept any registrations after that. Okay, so the question is the RSVP just a way to take attendance? And so the RSVPs are a way to kind of communicate, you know, your if you'll be attending, so that you receive either the Zoom link for the online sessions or information for the in-person sessions. So the RSVP is just an important way to, you know, kind of communicate all that information, and a good way to, you know, stay on track with the sessions that are coming up, because we will be taking attendance as well at each session. Okay, yes. So so the program runs from the first week of October until about the middle of May. And each session, the sessions are typically on Monday evenings from 6 to 7, or from 6 to 7:30, depending on the session, if it will take longer. And then there are different there are particular days, such as school holidays, that there will be extra trips. And again, these are all outlined in the information packet. Let's see. So what grade is the best year to participate in the program? I'll pass this on to one of the officers. Do you think that there's the best year to participate in the program?
It's essentially open to pretty much all high schoolers. If you feel like you're a little bit swamped and you can't come to Monday meetings, you know, whether you're juggling like other school activities, if you're like a junior or anything like that, then maybe, you know, just looking at your schedule in advance. But really, it's designed to be free for like all.
Great, thank you, Roxana. Okay, so there's a lot of questions on the RSVP. So Roxana or Vivian, would you mind kind of explaining the RSVP process?
Yeah, so on Monday evenings, we'll be sending out a link to a doodle poll. And this doodle poll is where you sign up for your sessions. This just kind of allows us to gauge how many attendees there will be, especially it's very helpful for in-person meetings. And you have until Friday to sign up. Yeah.
Great, thank you so much. Okay. So, so the question is, are there any opportunities to volunteer at Suburban Hospital as well through the program? So, so that's a great question. So we do have a volunteer program here at Suburban Hospital. And last year we brought in the coordinator for that to kind of just talk through and give information. That is a separate application. So if you're interested in Suburban Hospital volunteering, that is a different portal and it's not kind of included in this program. However, we do have an opportunity to earn SSL hours at one of our sessions this year through our Adopt a Family program, where our medical explorers will come together to support a family in our area and, purchase supplies such as, non-perishable goods and wrap them, different gifts, wrap them during a session, and you will earn up to 3 SSL hours. But again, if you are interested, the volunteering at Suburban Hospital is a separate application. Providing the registration link for the program. So the registration link will be sent out to everyone who has registered for the information. For this session, if you received any emails from me regarding this session, you will receive the registration link following this program. Registration will open at right when we finish. So at 7 o'clock, it will open. You'll receive an email with details for registration. And if you have any questions, you can absolutely contact me at the end of the program. I will put my email again in the chat. So can the CPR certificate help us get a job in the hospital? So having a CPR certification is great for many reasons. Having CPR certification is great to, just to be in our community. You never know when, those life-saving skills will come, are necessary. So in that sense, having, as much as of our community CPR certified is great. And then in addition, CPR sometimes is required for a job, but yes. Okay, and also, so our next question, can you do this for multiple years or only one? You're absolutely welcome to do this for multiple years. As we see here, Roxana and Vivian are 2 great examples. They participated last year and are now our student officers. However, you're more than welcome to attend 2 years or 3 years or every year just as an explorer as well. Every year is different. So we don't, we have a few signature programs, but this speaker lineup will change with different specialties. So, you'll always learn something new and it won't be the same thing every year. So absolutely. And if you're in your 2nd year or 3rd or 4th year, you're welcome to apply to be a student officer and take on more of a leadership role in the program. So the question is, do you have to register in person at Suburban Hospital? No, registration will be completed all online. The $40 payment will be completed online as well. There'll be a spot for that and it will prompt you to complete the payment, but there's no in-person registration. And yes, 9th graders can be in this program. Okay, so the question, for students who play sports or have other extracurriculars, do you recommend us to still register for this program, even if there might be some days where we can't attend? So like I said before, it's kind of recommended that you can attend 80% of our sessions just so that you're making the most out of your year in medical exploring. If you foresee maybe next year in high school you have less commitments, then perhaps consider signing up next year. But again, it's really, you want to make sure that you are getting the most out of this experience. Okay. So which website holds the registration link? So the registration link is at our Suburban Hospital events page, and I can put that in the chat here. Well, it'll be sent out to everyone, but if you have our Suburban Hospital events page, which is where you registered for this information session, it will be listed on the same website. Yes, $40 is the cost for the entire year. Okay. So if you register for the program and you attend all sessions, you would have to RSVP for all the sessions and nothing else. So I'm gonna answer this question as best as possible. So yes, so we do have RSVPs again, as the officers went over. So again, the RSVPs are just to kind of, you know, let us know who to expect at the session, and again, to stay on track with your own schedule. So when you register for the program, you'll still have to RSVP for each session. There are some sessions that are listed in the information packet that do have a limited number of spots. So that's why, you know, it's important to kind of complete that RSVP just so that we can stay on track and confirm, we can confirm your spot at those sessions. Okay, so is there flexibility for those who might come late because of extracurriculars? Of course, you know, we're flexible, but again, it is only for an hour. So, you know, if you, you know, if it's a Zoom link, you're welcome to join. You know, if you get back, you know, 5 to 10 minutes late, you know, we expect the majority of explorers to be there from the whole hour, 6 to 7, with our cameras on and phones away. But again, you know, conflicts do arise. So what we ask in those situations where you might have a conflict is that you email the student officers and myself, and just let us know, because we really, you know, emphasize the importance of communication. So again, so the flexibility kind of comes in with communication as well. Okay. So what exactly will we be learning about? That is a great question. One of the, Roxanne or Vivian, would you mind, you know, kind of the best way we can, because we'll be learning so much. I don't know.
So usually what the kind of structure of the meetings look like is that a panelist will come in, or just like any professional from any field. We've had surgeons, oncologists, psycho-oncologists, pathologists, so all different fields. They'll come in, they'll talk about their specialty. Sometimes there'll be hands-on activities, in which case you get to like participate a little bit. And at the end, it's usually just, as this Zoom showed you, just a bunch of questions that you can ask to the person who's presenting. So it is meant to be engage people and participate people with questions, and also with hands-on activities. But usually the fields differ from meeting to meeting. There are really no repeats or anything like that. And a lot of the doctors actually come from Suburban as well. So it's multiple different fields.
Thank you. It's a great answer.
If I can add just a little bit. So what Roxana said was basically what our meetings generally look like, but we also have sessions like CPR training, Stop the Bleed, which are hands-on activities. So you get CPR certified and you learn about trauma care. We worked with the trauma unit at Suburban to learn how to stop bleeding from major injuries. And we also toured, I think it was one of the EMT services, or where we got to see what an ambulance looked like and how their shifts worked. Yeah, so I think the panelists, the seminars are very helpful, but also this in-person experience to kind of see hands-on what these professionals do. That was one of my favorite parts of the program.
Thank you both. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to say exactly what you'll learn, because you will learn so much. Like this year, we have a suturing session, so you'll learn how to suture, which I mean, you know, and then another session could be seminar style. So we will be learning lots this year. So will we, let's see. So question, again, for the $40 for the session, the $40 covers the medical exploring polo that we will be wearing to all of our in-person meetings and off-site visits in person. And then it also covers CPR certification, a CPR book if you're interested, you get that. And also different supplies for, again, like the suturing session, different supplies. And it's not a monthly fee, it's just for the whole year. So it's just for October to May. Okay, so after you register, will there be an email to tell us our next steps? Yes, so once you register, you'll receive an initial immediate confirmation. But then after that, you will receive an email about our kickoff session, which at that session, it will be in person at Suburban Hospital on Monday, October 2nd at 6 p.m. And we'll go over kind of the year, it'll be more detailed. How do you RSVP for each session? What we'll be learning each other's names and different things like that. So yes, you will be sent an email telling you your next steps. And yes, so the question, is there a certification you can get for completing this program? Yes, so for explorers that attend 80% of our sessions, as I mentioned, you will receive a completion certificate following the program. Do you suggest that we have a notebook or place we can take notes during sessions? That's a great question. Officers, do you have a good, what do you recommend for a notebook and taking notes?
I think that's a pretty good idea. I remember, like, especially for Zoom, if it's moving really fast and slide presentations are going very fast, sometimes I'll just pull up like a notes app. But yeah, it's kind of a free for all. If you'd like to, you're definitely welcome to. And usually the questions, move very fast. So if you want to remember those as well. But I think a notepad should be great to have.
Yeah, following up with that, I did also see a question about graded or evaluated work. So you won't get a grade, there are no assignments. You mostly just go there and have fun learning. That's the whole purpose of this program, is to provide you with an opportunity to learn. And of course, if you would like to take notes, that's great, because if that helps you retain information and increase your knowledge, sure, you can go for it. But I will say, most of the people usually just focus on the presentation without having to take notes or worrying about anything else. So
absolutely, thank you both. We know you all have enough quizzes and tests and everything, so yeah, it's just about enjoying learning and getting to ask the speakers questions. So this meeting is recorded and it will be sent out upon request. If you need to watch the session back, you're more than welcome to. So how can I, as a student, get a leadership role in this program? I heard another organizer speaking about this earlier and how he was a vice president while he was a sophomore. Yes, so our speaker earlier, the Medical Explorer alumni, Eric. So again, back when he did the program, it was, he said vice president. Now we have student officers. Same thing, leadership role, just called a little bit differently. So towards the springtime, an application will go out for a student officer. And again, coming back on the officers, do one of you mind sharing kind of how that application process goes?
So usually it's in a form that'll be sent out, and it's, again, as Maura said, it'll be towards the end of the year, and there's just questions, asking about your experience, what you learned, why you want to be officer. But that'll primarily be held we sent out with a form, and it'll usually be officers or just whoever's in charge that will be reviewing that, and that'll again happen in the springtime.
Thank you.
normally, there are normally 2 positions. So yeah, just to keep that in mind.
Thank you. So there's a few people saying they did not receive any additional follow-up. If you signed up after a certain time today, then you did not then you may have missed my initial communication. But if you have signed up for that information session, I have your email and you will get the registration link following this. And at the end, I'll put my email and the information session registration link in the chat so you can, sign up even after this session, just so that I have your email. Okay, so in regards to hands-on opportunities, again, that's included in the information packet, but just to review a few of them for anyone that has not gotten a chance to review the information packet. A few of the in-person sessions, we'll be going to the National Museum of Health and Medicine in Silver Spring. Again, as I mentioned, we will be doing a suturing session where you learn how to suture on pig's feet. We'll be going to an off-site medical practice that focuses on radiation oncology, and you'll be able to see the machines that they use. Our rehabilitation services, which includes occupational therapy, speech therapy, and physical therapy, they'll be showing us some of their different devices that they use, so you'll be able to kind of see, use them hands-on, test them out, different things like that. As Vivian mentioned, we'll be getting a tour of the trauma bay, and you'll be getting Stop the Bleed certified. So that's another really important hands-on opportunity where you learn how to use a tourniquet, how to pack a wound. Yeah, so those are just a few, but again, everything is outlined in that information packet. Okay, let's see. So a lot of questions regarding internship opportunities at Suburban Hospital. Again, this is handled in our volunteer department. So this program, Medical Exploring Program, is really just an opportunity to get to learn about different medical specialties, find out if the medical field is what you want to do in the future. And if you're interested in those volunteering opportunities, we can bring someone to talk more about the volunteering opportunities at Suburban Hospital as well. Will all of this information be in the email? Yes, so again, the registration information will be sent via email, and as well, if you want a recording or the link to this recording, then you can respond to that email as well to get the recording. Okay, so someone asked, since they live far away, our hospital from the hospital, are parents allowed to wait in the parking deck for the 1 hour in-person sessions? Yes. Yes, parents are welcome to wait. Again, we understand, transportation is sometimes a barrier, which is also why we have some of those Zoom sessions, but yes, parents are allowed to wait, and there is no transportation provided to the hospital. Again, someone asked, do we have field trips? Like I just mentioned, we'll be attending the museum and going to an off-site radiation oncology office. Will there be homework that we have to do outside of the weekly meetings? No, there is no homework. Again, it just emphasized the importance of learning, but you do have to complete the RCP. So that is just a one-click saying you'll attend the session. That's the only thing you'll have to do besides the sessions outlined. Okay, in terms of the polo shirts, they will be worn at the in-person sessions. You're more than welcome to wear them to the virtual sessions as well. Okay. Let's see. Will the program be taking place while students are on break from school? That's a great question. So again, since many people here attend different schools, we can't guarantee that a session will happen when a different school doesn't have school. But again, we follow the MCPS calendar. So when like for one of our sessions, we have it on a day where MCPS doesn't have school, but in order to kind of work through that, there's a Sunday session that's offered to go to the National Museum of Health and Medicine. Okay, so let's open up the Q&A. So the question is, do you pay $40 even if you aren't accepted into the program? So the everyone is accepted into the program if you register by the deadline, September 29th, at 5 p.m. So you'll only pay if you're in the program. So you know, if you complete it, receive the confirmation, you're in the program. Do students usually do this program for more than 1 year? Again, it's encouraged because you learn all different things, but it's of course up to you. And again, if you have different extracurricular activities, then maybe it wouldn't work out. Okay. If you don't attend more than 80%, are you kicked out from the program? No, you are not. You when you register for the year, you are in the program for the year. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I see the question again. Is there a limit on how many people can join? No, again, just make sure you register by the September 29th at 5 p.m. deadline in order to join. Okay, and in terms for the museum visit, transportation will not be provided. It's in Silver Spring, so we will be meeting at that location. Have been a lot of questions, so I apologize if I missed your question. You're welcome to put it back in the chat or the Q&A box. And I'm going to send my email and the information session link in the chat now. So again, just make sure you're registered for this information session so that I have your email. And if you have any questions, you are welcome to email me as well. And again, so the registration link will be going out to everyone following this session. Let's see. I think someone asked a question, will this help for increasing medical work and terminology? Yes, I'll turn it over to the officers, that question. Do you think that the program kind of helped you out with any medical terminology?
I think it definitely exposed me to some very like subspecialty specific terminology. So, or not even just terminology, more like topics and areas of focus, because of course surgery is very different from pathology or from oncology. So, they didn't really teach us specific terminology or vocabulary, but I was able to understand the gist of their work.
Okay, thank you, Vivian. So let's see, are we required to bring something with us for in-person meetings? Nope, you are not required to bring anything. Again, we'll be wearing our polos, so I guess you're required to wear your polo, but you do not need to bring anything else with you. As a senior, couldn't you continue this after graduation? So again, the program is intended and open to 9th through 12th graders. So it is open for high school students. Do you think this would be a good thing to put on my college resume? Again, we kind of encourage, like, if you're interested in the program, then to do it just because you're interested in the program. You don't want, but again, it is something that you're welcome to put on your resume. What's the percentage of in-person versus virtual sessions? That is a great question. I would say a little over half of the sessions are in person, but again, I'm not sure the exact percentage, but it's the sessions are outlined in the information packet. So the next session, the next session you will have to register for and with the link that we provided tonight, and it will be on Monday, October 2nd at 6 p.m. at Suburban Hospital in Bethesda, and you will get your shirt, your polo shirt at that first in-person session. So of course it's not required to be worn to that first session, but then all sessions following that. Let's see.
I did see a question that says, will we get to pick the specialty we want to learn? And because this is a exploring program, so we're trying to kind of expose students to all different types of subspecialties. So we will cover a broad range of subspecialties. There may be a subspecialty that you really like, but in order to, and I think it's great to learn about other subspecialties. I'm interested in oncology, but I've learned a great deal about surgery and other valuable information. So
Great, thank you. And then again, so actually, that you can see in the information packet this year, we'll be kind of taking once the session is, or once the program is underway, we'll be kind of looking to see what other specialties we won't be hearing from, and we will hear from them on our very last session of the year. So it's kind of like a little special. Everyone will be able to give their input about what specialty they want to hear from. Let's see. Yes, there is a schedule. It's in that information packet, and I will include it in my email to everyone that has signed up for the information session. Again, if you registered for the information session this evening, then you may have not seen that information packet yet, but again, it will be included in the email tonight. Do you get name tags? So when we come to our in-person session, especially the first session, yes, we will be wearing name tags. And that first session is really an opportunity to get to know each other and how the program will run for the year. So kind of some icebreakers and things, lots of fun before we get into the year where we'll be kind of more focused on hearing from our speakers. Okay, so for being CPR certified, will we have to take a test at the end? So Roxanne and Vivian, I know you both got CPR certified last year.
So usually there will be someone who's overseeing, usually a nurse will be overseeing that session, in which case, so everybody will be doing CPR practice on different dummies at the same time. And then after the practice, usually the nurse just walks around, make sure you're comfortable with everything, and we'll double check that you've understood all the content and everything, and we'll just kind of gaze to see how you're doing with the dummy. And then after that, you will get certified. There are videos included that you'll go along with, and usually they'll repeat steps. You repeat the process. If you don't get it the first time, usually the people who oversee it are very empathetic, and they'll do tons of practice with everybody. But at the end, I believe most everybody will get a certification.
Yes, thank you, Roxana. And so for a question about the polo shirts, regarding if your culture does not allow you, are you able to wear something else? Of course, we can work to make sure, again, if culture doesn't allow you to wear a polo shirt, that's absolutely okay. And of course, we can make changes, of course. What is the schedule of the program? So the program is on Monday evenings from 6 to 7, typically, and then there are a few one-time sessions that are at a different day and time. And I believe actually I can include the information packet. I'll attach the information packet as well to the chat here, so everyone will be able to take a look. Roxanne and Vivian, do you mind sharing like one each, like pick a session that you're excited for this year?
I would say there's suturing Pixby. We didn't get to do that last year just because the hybrid model and COVID just, couldn't mix very well. We were on Zoom mostly. So I'm definitely excited for more of the in-person sessions, especially suturing, which wasn't available last year. So that's something to look forward to.
yeah, I'm excited for the field trip because I think it's a great opportunity for all of us to connect with one another. I love hearing from like-minded people. and I'm really excited to make new friendships through this program.
And then I see another question in the chat for the two of you. What current grades are you two in?
So I'm a senior. I joined last year when I was a junior, but I'm currently a senior in high school right now.
Yeah, I'm a junior and I joined last year as a sophomore.
Again, I think that I hope I answered all of your questions. If not, please feel free to comment it now. And if all of your questions have been answered, I want to just thank everyone again for coming to this information session tonight. We look forward to an exciting year of medical exploring with lots of different sessions. The information packet is in the chat. So you're welcome to open that, and then it should download when you open that as well. So you'll have it saved, but again, it will also be sent out after this. So again, thank you all for joining. Okay, sorry, I see one more question. Any research opportunities? So again, this program, it has set us up for sessions with particular doctors and things. And when the doctors are, open to it and available, that sometimes they are welcome to share their contact information with students if you're interested in reaching out. However, this is not, you won't be doing the research at this program. You'll just be kind of learning and getting exposed to different things. Yes, the registration link will be sent out after this meeting. If you have registered for the information session that I've put in the chat, it will be sent out. And another question, the information pack, did anyone see the information packet in the chat? I think so. Okay, so it should be available, but again, it will be attached as well. So thank you everyone for coming tonight. We'll give you some time back in your evening before we get started for the year. So yes, all right, thank you everyone. Have a great rest of your night.